Yeah, good morning, everyone. This morning, what we are here to do is actually to look into the activities of two of British film production company. One is Ealing Studio. They are in Ealing Green, that is in West London, and the other one is Big Talk Production. They are actually located in Fitzrover, that is in central London. The first one that I talked about, which is Ealing Studio, was actually created in 1902 by a man called Will Baker. He acquired a large expanse of land, and what he had in mind was to create a studio where people will come and record their film productions, because by 1900 the film business was a very big thing. So there are so many avenues that people are taking advantage of. So this man actually came around in 1902, acquired this large expanse of land in Ealing Green, and developed it into a film studio. People actually patronized him, and around 1932 the place was acquired by Basildine and Michael Bellon. So these two people, they are into film production. So when they acquired this place, they renamed it into Associated Talking Pictures. So they were making films, and they made a lot. Around that time, for one reason or another, they renamed it back to Ealing Studio from Associated Talking Pictures that they gave to it. So they renamed it back to Ealing Studio. And they were making films on their own, and they were still rendering services of hiring out the studio to people. This particular studio that we are talking about, they have 5 good studios. 5 good studios with different sizes. One is 1,000 square feet, another is 10,000 square feet, and we have 20,000 square feet as well. 5 different studios that they have in this Ealing Studio that we're talking about. And this particular studio, what they have done, we understand that it was initially owned by Will Baker, transferred to Basildine and Michael Bellon. Then in 1955, the place was acquired by BBC in 1955. So BBC was using the studio to produce their own program and renting it out as well. But from that 1955, BBC held on to this studio until 1995. So in 1995, they sold it over to a consortium called NFTS. So this NFTS Group 2 operated this studio from 1995 till 2000. So in year 2000, a consortium called Fragile Films acquired the studio again, and the consortium did not rename the studio. They left the name as Ealing Studio, and they've been producing films in that studio since then. Some of the films that they actually produced in Ealing Studio include Lady Killers, Easy Virtue, and Lady from Pimlico, and some other ones. So that is that about Ealing Studio. So another studio that I mentioned earlier is called Big Talk Productions. The Big Talk Production, I said they were located in Fitzrover in central London. So it was actually established in 1994 by a man called Nera Park. So Nera Park established this video, only British owned studio, and started operating it, producing films, and all sorts of things there. So in 2013, Big Talk Production was partly acquired by ITV Studio. ITV Studio, they have a part in these Big Talk productions. And this Big Talk production that we're talking about, they have made lots of films, and they make commercial success in most of these films rather, except in one or two. So, for example, there is a film they made that called Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead. The budget for that film was $6.1 million, and at the end of the day, after showing it around, they made $13.5 million on that film. And there is another one called Baby Driver. So this Baby Driver, the budget for that film was $34 million. After showing it around, they made $107 million. $107 million. So it's been lots of success for Big Talk productions. So Big Talk productions too, they transited through different stages while developing into a full-blown film production. So they produced lots of comedy films and television production. They've been doing television production since they started, because there is this British Broadcasting Act that actually compel television stations to engage independent producers. So in the case of Big Talk Production, they were producing, and they are still producing for ITV Studio, because ITV Studio, by law, must get 25% of its production from independent producers. So the highest they can do on their own is 75%. So out of this 25%, Big Talk Production is actually sharing from that. And they've done very good. They've done a lot of good things for themselves, because year 2016 and successively year 2017, Big Talk Production actually won the award of Best Place to Work in Film Production in UK. Best Place to Work in Film Production in UK. And in 2017 again, they won this award, Best Independent Production Company in 2017. So, and they've done lots of things, like I said earlier. So some of these films that they've done is this TV production for BBC, Him and Her. And they've done Friday Night Dinner, they've done Lockwood, they've done Brotherhood, Job Lots, and lots and lots. So when we actually look at the activities of two British film production company, we say that they've actually made themselves proud, and everybody that is working with them, and they've done very, very well. So thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
Okay, some feedback. So, Anthony?
That was wicked, man. That was good. I like that, definitely. Only thing I would say is just work on your slides. Seriously, your pitch is good, your projection of your voice is good, you're always looking at the audience, the camera. I would just say that instead of keep going back and forward on your slides, your first slide is perfect because you've got both the production companies. Then if you split it up a little bit, you would have to keep going back and forward on your slides. You can just keep going forward. That's the only thing I would say. That is it, end of.
Thank you.
Molly?
Yeah, I would like to reinforce the point he made that you were constantly looking at us, not at the papers, which is a really good thing. One point of improvement would be, again, the slides. You could make them even more visually stimulating, not just all the images in one slide, but throughout the presentation. But overall, it was insightful and very informative.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I actually think it was very well presented. I think you actually did engage with the group really well. I do think that it was actually very informative. I quite liked listening to that. The only thing I would think about, but obviously don't change it now, but is when you were talking about how many $1 million, are we talking, did you mean pounds or do you mean US?
I mean dollars.
Which
That is
currency?
that
US?
is that is the
US.
currency they use to give the information out.
Okay.
So for me to reconvert it would be wrong because
No.
the exchange rate as at that time will be completely different from what we have now.
Okay,
So, and
we're
I don't want
talking-
to misinform.
Okay, so we're talking US dollars.
Yeah,
Okay,
as at the
that's
time
fine.
those films were produced.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's good. No, otherwise, it's actually really well presented.
yeah. Thank you very much.
Lovely.
Thank you.
I'm just going to stop record.